Hey guys, we're here with our IBA Season 3 draft analysis. We, the Reno Regis, have joined a new league with some familiar faces and some new battlers we've never taken on before in the league format. I joined the IBA because I am, as you guys probably know, I am part of the NPL. We are starting up in January. This league will also be starting up in January. But some of you guys may not know, I'm also part of another league called the ITL, run by my friend Aki. And that will not be starting up until probably like March, April, maybe even May. So I wanted to do another league, get some more practice in, hopefully win a championship, all that fun stuff. I am recording this on Christmas Eve, and we'll probably be going up on Christmas Day, so Merry Christmas to all of you who celebrate it. But anyways, yes, we have joined a new league. Some familiar battlers you guys may know. Nick, aka Rickless Bat, AA Run 2420 is in this league. Aki VGC is in this league, and some people who you guys may not know who I have never battled before personally or been in the league with, like Danekii and my good buddy Nin. So I'm very excited to get started with this new league. So we will just briefly go over all the Pokemon that we picked up for our draft. Shout out to, I believe Odds made all these graphics. They actually turned out really good. And shout out to me trying to figure out how Photoshop works, trying to make it perfect for me. But anyways, to start off, we had the 16th overall pick. It is a snake order pick. The way the draft format works, if you guys did not know, is this is a tier draft, which means that but the higher ups of the league have broken down each Pokemon that you could possibly draft into 5 different tiers, tiers 1 through 5. You have to draft in tier 1, which is very good things like Mew, Manaphy, Tapu Koko, all kinds of stuff like that. Your tier 2s, slightly below that, tier 3s below that, tier 4s below that, and tier 5s are the quote-unquote worst Pokemon out there. But there are some good hidden gems in tier 5. You have to draft a Mega Evolution. If you draft a lower tier Mega Evolution, which are broken down into, I believe, 3 or 4 tiers, I can't remember off the top of my head. But if you draft a lower tier Mega, you get additional points for your free picks. Now you have 400 points for your free picks. Tier 1s are worth 180, tier 2s are worth 120. Tier 3s are worth 100, tier 4s are worth 60, and tier 5s are worth 40. So you have 400 points, but that number can go up if you draft a lower tier Mega to spend on 4 picks. So it kind of gives opportunity for people to craft their draft however they want to. In addition, at the end of the draft, we have to pick 3 Z users, which can be any Pokemon we drafted. It is not restricted to a certain tier, and have to only use offensive Z moves, so nothing like Z Hold Hands, Z Rain Dance, Z Weather moves, things like that, which is unfortunate for some of the things that we drafted, but that is okay, we will make it work. So we had the 16th overall pick, as I mentioned earlier, and it is snake order. So basically 1 through 16 go, and then 16 through 1 go. And with the 16th overall pick, we basically make 2 picks in a row, but then we had to wait for 30 people to make their picks, which is unfortunate, but we definitely can make it work. So for our first pick that we got, we ended up taking Mega Charizard X. Now, Mega Charizard X is something I've actually really wanted to use for a long time in the league format. I personally think, on paper, it's one of the top 5 Megas in the format. I would say along the likes of Venusaur, Lopunny, Gardevoir, and Scizor. Honorable mention, Gallade. Are probably the best Megas in the format. Mega Charizard X has a lot of potential options. It has base 78 HP and 111 defense and 85 SpDef, so it's decently bulky. Even if you don't invest all that much, it's able to take some hits, so very, very clutch as well. 130 in both attack and special attack, backed up by 100 speed stat. A Fire Dragon type, which is very awesome because that is our Dragon type that is not weak to Fairy nor Ice. Charizard only having weaknesses to Ground, Rock, and other dragons is very, very nice. Tough Claws is its ability, which boosts the power of contact moves. So Tough Claws boosted things like Outrage and Flare Blitz are very powerful coming from Mega Charizard X. Get some interesting support moves as well, which is, I think, something that a lot of people sleep on with this Pokemon. Things like Tailwind, Will-O-Wisp. It even gets Defog, so it's not a great defogger, but technically it is an option, even though the rest of my team isn't really super weak to hazards besides Charizard. So I would I don't know, but it's still technically an option. All kinds of crazy coverage moves too. Things like acrobatics, crunch, earthquake. It gets thunder punch, I know for sure. Rock slide, shadow claw, all kinds of fun stuff. It even gets quick attack for priority. So definitely a lot of options we have with Charizard, but probably the most important thing that we have with Charizard is setup options. There are three main things to set up that Charizard has if you don't count Tailwind, which are Swords Dance, Home Claws, and Dragon Dance, all of which are very useful to me personally. So I'm very excited to use Charizard. So for our second pick, actually kind of something strange happened. So I was thinking of what I wanted to pair with Charizard. I thought of Tapu Bulu, that got taken. I thought of Tapu Fini, that was already gone before Tapu Bulu. I thought of Manaphy, and that got taken by Nova with the 13th overall pick in the New York Greninjas. And right as we're about to pick up Mega Charizard X, Nova says, I don't really know how much I want Manaphy anymore, which I'm like, fine with me, let's work something out. So we drafted something that we will be trading to Nova, however that trade will not be active until week 2. So for 1 week, and I didn't make graphics for this Pokemon, but for 1 week we do have the Pokemon Clefable. Unaware and Magic Guard are both great abilities. Very good Fairy type, all kinds of bulky support shenanigans, yada yada yada. But I want to talk about Manaphy. Manaphy is not what we drafted, but it's what we're going to be using for the majority of the season. I have used Manaphy before in one league. I did not upload for that league. It was the ABA Season 3. And it was very useful. We had some minor success with it. I felt like the rest of the team didn't really support Manaphy though, even though I had a rain team. I just felt like other things were more prominent than Manaphy for some reason. Like, Manaphy fills so many roles, and I never needed it to fill, like, every role. It's weird. I didn't use Manaphy a whole lot, so I wanted to try another chance with it in the league. Manaphy is also going to be one of our Z users, so unfortunately Clefable is going to be one of our Z users for week 1. Whatever, we'll make that work. Manaphy is probably best known for its access to the move Tail Glow. That will give it +3 special attack instantly. Stab, Surf, / Scald are very powerful coming from this thing, especially at +3. And it gets some interesting coverage moves as well. Things like Energy Ball, Dazzling Gleam, Shadow Ball, Signal Beam, and Hidden Power, whatever I want. In addition, it has some interesting support moves, things like Heal Bell, Knock Off. It even gets U-Turn for pivoting. So there's a lot of different things we could definitely do with Manaphy this season. I'm very excited for it. I really wanted this thing because Charizard does resist both of Manaphy's weaknesses, being electric and grass. So I thought it would be a very good pairing. It's the start of our Fire, Water, Grass core, and we do end up completing it with our next pair of picks. So I'm very happy with this pick. We will, again, have access to this week 2. So we will have Clefable week 1, but that is okay. Manaphy is definitely a valuable member to the team, and that's why I'm excited to use it. The next Mon on the team that we ended up drafting, so it goes down 30 picks, and it comes back to us, and we are able to snag Tier 2 Xurkitree, which this thing is arguably a good Tier 1. I would say it's like a low Tier 1, high Tier 2 sort of Mon, so it kind of goes in either tier. I don't know why it took so long to come up with the word tier. Stab Thunderbolts hurt from this thing, especially at base 173 special attack. That's intense. It also gets access to the move Tail Glow, which I actually did a preseason match against Nick and Reckless Bat and the Texas Tyrantrums. And I ran Tail Glow Xurkitree just because I could, because it was preseason and that doesn't matter. And one Tail Glow, and this was a timid Xurkitree, was over 1,000 special attack stat, which was crazy to me. We do play on level 100, by the way. Stab Thunderbolts hurt from this thing. It also gets Volt Switch for pivoting. Interesting coverage moves, things like Dazzling Gleam, Energy Ball, Signal Beam, and Hidden Power, whatever I want. This thing is a very good Choice Scarf user because 83 speed is not necessarily the greatest thing in the world for that special attack stat, but slow Volt Switches are very nice. However, this thing isn't too bulky. 83, 71, 71 are its bulk stats. But still, I think we can make this work. I did use Xurkitree for half of ITL Season 5, I think it was. But then Davion, aka Noiver Nation, who's also in this league, dropped Tapu Koko, and I was like, I will take that, thank you. Please and thank you. So we didn't get a good chance to use Xurkitree. But I'm excited we have it now. and I think it will be very clutch. We do have a little bit of ground weakness, which was going to be important for my next pick, which just so happened to work out nicely because it also completes our Firewater Grass core. Grass is a great ground resist. And we ended up taking Decidui. Now, Decidui does bring about a Ghost and Dark weakness to our team that so far is completely unresisted, completely unchecked. But that's okay because we will check it with the tail end of our draft. Decidui is a very interesting Pokemon. It's actually one I've really wanted to use in the format for a very long time. I also apologize if I'm looking over here. Showdown's over on my second monitor over there, and I'm recording on this monitor. Deal with it. It's a signature move, Spirit Shackle, very strong Ghost type move, and also prevents the opponent from switching if I want to use a Spirit Shackle like Toxic Set, for example. U-turn for pivoting, it gets Synthesis and Roost for recovery. It gets Shadow Sneak and Sucker Punch for priority. It gets access to Baton Pass, Nasty Plot, and Swords Dance, which is awesome. A much better defogger than Charizard. I'm like significantly better. Stab, Leaf Blade, and Seed Bomb, and it's only base 107 attack, but it's got 100 special attack as well. So its attack stat is slightly better than its special attack stat, but a special set is not completely unheard of. Its special move pool is a little bit lacking. It gets Stab Grass moves, and Stab Shadow Ball is about it, but it does get access to Nasty Plot, so I could run those two, Nasty Plot and a Hidden Power, for example. Could definitely be an option. I'm very excited with the Decidui. I think this is going to be great. We do not have access to its hidden ability, Long Reach, just in case you guys were curious. It is not released yet, and if it is released in the season, I'm like 95% sure they wouldn't let us use it anyways. Which is fine. I'm committed to overgrow Decidui anyways. This is something I'm super excited for. Does complete our Firewater Grass core. So far, our team doesn't have too many shared weaknesses besides that aforementioned ground weakness and the Ghost and Dark weakness that Decidui brings up, but we will patch that up near the end of our draft. So 30 more picks happen. It's time for the next two. At this point, I really started worrying about hazards, both setting them up and removing them. Decidui is a decent defogger, but I would like to have more options than just Decidui. That way I could bring offensive Decidui and bring a defogger or a rapid spinner from another mon. Really bring out all the capabilities of Decidui. By the way, did not mention, Xurkitree and Decidui are our other two Z users. I felt like it was the best options for what we drafted. If we had access to Z status moves, that would be awesome. Because of Z Rain Dance Manaphy and Z Hypnosis Xurkitree, that would be a lot of fun. But alas, it was not meant to be. But that's okay. The next one we drafted for this team was Skarmory. Now, Skarmory is a flying type, immune to ground, which patches up a little bit of a weakness that we have there. It actually pairs very nicely with Charizard. Skarmory being only weak to fire and electric is resisted by Charizard. And Skarmory being resistant to dragon, immune to ground, and neutral to rock is really good with Charizard. It is another defogger. It is a hazard setter both for Spikes and Stealth Rock. Access to Stab, Brave Bird, and Iron Head. Some okay coverage moves. It's not like this thing is the most scary offensive presence out there. Brave Bird, Iron Head are its best stab. It also gets access to Night Slash, Rock Slide, and X Scissor and Pursuit are definitely its best coverage moves. Interesting support moves, things like Taunt, Tailwind, Whirlwind, and or Roar. I get to pick which one I want. Spooky. Roost for recovery. Agility and Swords Dance, so you never know. You could see double dancing Skarmory. That would be crazy. I really wanted this thing because it pairs nicely in terms of type with Charizard. It gives us a defogger and a rock setter, which is perfect. So the next pick I wanted to take was Donphan. We have used Donphan before. We used him back in NPL Season 4. We had some decent success with Donphan during that season as well. Another rock setter. This one is this one is a rapid spinner as well. Stab, Earthquake, Hurt from this thing. Base 120 attack is redonkulous. Some really interesting coverage moves as well. Like, a lot of things that you wouldn't expect it gets. Moves like Fire Fang, Gunk Shot, Ice Shard, Knockoff, Play Rough, Poison Jab, Seed Bomb, Super Power, Stone Edge, Rock Slide. Definitely some very interesting and fun stuff we can do with Donphan. It's a very good physical wall with rocks and rapid spin. That's really why I wanted it. Our team is very good physically defensively so far. So we will have to probably take some more special defense in the back end of the draft, which we do take a really good special defensive mon. We actually take two really good like neutral mons that will probably end up having to be specially defensive if they come, because I lack special defense. But that is not to say that they cannot be physically defensive as well. I totally just moved my puffball over here. The whole point was to have it right here because it's Christmas. It's Crisis, Merry Chrysler. So Donphan, I'm really excited for this pick. I think it pairs nicely. We patch up its weaknesses for the most part. We don't really care about grass and water. Ice is a little bit of a concern for our team. Our only ice resist is Manaphy. And in fact, our only ice resist for our entire draft is going to be Manaphy, which is going to be AIDS for week 1. But we'll make it work. We will definitely figure it out. I need to change this over so I can access the rest of my mons on Showdown. Okay, so 30 more picks happen again, and the next pick rolls around, and this is something I actually really wanted. I've never used it before in League, and it was still around, and I kind of just wanted to take it. We ended up taking Cresselia. It is a ground immunity with Levitate. Great overall bulk. A very good Calm Mind user as well with Stab Psychic. It gets some interesting coverage options, things like Energy Ball, Moonblast, and Ice Beam, Signal Beam, Shadow Ball. But this thing is known for its bulk. 120, 120, 130 are its defense stats, which is absolutely crazy. Like, there's nothing in the game that's going to OHKO this thing. I'm sorry to tell you. So you're going to have to try to outbulk me, which, if you're going to try to outbulk me, hopefully my offense will be able to beat that bulk. It's very complicated, but I really like Cresselia for this team. It gets recovery with Moonlight. It gets access to its signature move, Lunar Dance. So it's basically a healing wish that also restores PP. So let's say like Manaphy gets a Tail Glow up and does a ton of work, and it's down to like 2 HP. I can bring in Cresselia, Lunar Dance, Manaphy back up to full just like that. I'm really excited to use Cresselia. It does bring about a Ghost and Dark weakness again, but that will be perfectly fine. We will patch that up with our next 2 picks, which the best way to patch up a Ghost and Dark weakness is with a Dark type. And the next Pokemon we ended up taking, along with Cresselia, was exactly that, a Alolan Persian. With the ability Fur Coat, it's actually a pretty decent physical wall as well. Its 115 speed is very important for it being such a crucial support Pokemon. Access to moves like Parting Shot for pivoting, Switcheroo for memes, Taunt to prevent my opponents from getting up rocks or setting up, for example. It also gets Roar. It does not get Thunder Wave, it gets Thunderbolt. I almost got super excited there. Access to Nasty Plot for setup as well, backed up by Stab, Dark Pulse, and Power Gem for coverage. It gets some interesting physical moves as well, and Thunderbolt, of course. Shadow Claw, Seed Bomb, U-Turn, Gunk Shot, and Play Rough are probably the most notable ones. So Persian definitely has a lot of different things it can do. A really good utility mon. I'm very happy. I think it works well with the team to patch up the Ghost and Dark weakness we have a little bit. Ghost is such a hard weakness to patch up because defensively, the only things that deal with it are Dark and Normal types. And I find it very hard to fit a Normal type on a team. Like, it has to be a very specific Normal type. Dark types are super easy, but chances are you're going to want a Psychic type and a Ghost type, so it's very hard to patch up, but I think we did a good job of it. The next mon that we took, so 30 more picks happened, we get 2 more picks. The next mon we took was Danekii. Danekii is a Dark resist, it is not a Ghost resist, unfortunately, but I really wanted a Fairy type for after Clefable is gone, basically. And this thing has 150 defense and special defense, making it very bulky. And a lot of people don't realize exactly how powerful this thing is offensively too. Those defense stats backed up by 100 attack and special attack is really clutch, because it's such a good mixed attacker with its signature move Diamond Storm and its Fairy Stab being from Moonblast. It gets Psychic moves and Earth Power for its main coverage options. Does get Calm Mind for setup as an option. Access to rocks, access to screens. It's a good like bulky utility mon that if I needed to do some offensive things, it can do offensive things as well. I really wanted Xurkitree, or not Xurkitree, why did I even say Xurkitree? I really wanted Danekii and Skarmory to pair with Mega Charizard X, because with Skarmory, you can't just stab Earthquake, or you can't just slap Earthquake on your Dragon type and beat my team. With Danekii, you can't just slap a Fire Stab on your Dragon type and beat my team. Basically, like, because Charizard's biggest weakness is opposing dragons, because a lot of dragons have setup options. A lot of dragons are faster than Charizard. It's hard to beat opposing dragons with Charizard if you're not already set up. So it's nice that we have both Skarmory and Danekii to... It works well with our team, I feel, is basically what I'm trying to say. Another hazard setter, so that takes the pressure off of Donphan and Skarmory for setting up hazards as well. I really like Danekii for this team, to be completely honest. I'm actually very excited to use it. In tangent with Danekii, we ended up taking Swellow. I really wanted something faster than Persian, just because Persian isn't exactly the strongest offensive presence, and it is the fastest thing on our team besides Swellow. So I wanted something faster. I wanted just something super fast that is able to pick off things late game. And 125 speed was perfect. It gets access to Guts, backed up by the base 85 attack stat, so it's really clutch. Stab Brave Bird. Stab Return, Stab, Quick Attack, U-Turn for pivoting, Pursuit, I guess, whatever. But what's actually become really popular recently is because Swellow got a special attack boost, I believe it's in Gen 6 or 7, I don't remember which one. But, and access to the move Boom Burst. A spec set is also pretty common to run on Swellow nowadays, with Boom Burst, Air Slash, Heat Wave, and Hidden Power, whatever you want. Or U-Turn for pivoting. It also gets access to Hurricane if you're feeling dangerous. I really like Swellow because of the speed it provides and the offensive presence it provides. It is a ghost immunity as well with normal type. It is also another ground immunity, being that flying type, which I thought was clutch as well. So 30 more picks happen. We get our final pick of the draft. Mr. Irrelevant this season is Hariyama. I really wanted Hariyama because with the 10 above Pokemon that we have a really notable rock weakness. Because Donphan is the only thing that can take like a Stab Stone Edge. I'm not really worried about hazards, but like a Stab Stone Edge hurts my team really bad, and Donphan's like the only thing that can take it. And I wanted to take the pressure off of that. And we have a pretty notable ice weakness as well, with the likes of Donphan, Swellow, and Decidueye, and Manaphy's are only resist. So in theory, you take a Steel type, but like the only notable Steel types in Tier 5 that were left were things like Steelix and Probopass, which would have made my team way too weak to water, put way too much pressure on Manaphy. I didn't want to do that, so I felt like this is the best option we had. The fighting type in Hariyama does resist the rock type moves, and the ability Thick Fat does help with the ice weakness ever so slightly. Even though Thick Fat is arguably its worst ability, if we bring like an Assault Vest Thick Fat Hariyama, it's able to tank ice types no problem. Bullet Punch for priority, Fake Up for priority, all kinds of crazy coverage moves, Stab, Close Combat, coverage moves like Earthquake, Ice Punch, I believe it gets Fire Punch, yes, Thunder Punch, Rock Slide / Stone Edge, Poison Jab, Power Up Punch, all kinds of fun stuff that Hariyama gets. It's 144 HP stat is the fattest thing on our team in terms of hit points. 120 attack stat is also very strong. When I'm not running Thick Fat, it also gets Guts and Sheer Force. I'm very happy with Hariyama, to be completely honest. I really like this team. It does have its flaws for sure, and it gets better week 2 once we do pick up Manaphy. But I'm actually very excited to use this team. I think I've started building with it a little bit, and it's very interesting. I feel like I have good weapons, and I feel like I have everything I could possibly ever want or need to beat my opponents, if that makes sense. But I guess we'll find out later in the season. Oh, excuse me. But anyways, we are just under 24 minutes as of this point. Probably with the intro we're over. But anyways, that is going to be it for this video. If you guys did enjoy, a like and a subscription would be much appreciated. Week 1 we take on Roseradenborg and their coach Danekii. I believe it's how you pronounce the name. Roseradenborg. I don't know how you say it for sure. So correct me if I'm wrong. But anyways, we do take on Danekii week 1, and I will be uploading for this league. So anyways, that is going to be it for this video. I will see you guys in the next one. Later.